There are nights, in the deep quiet, when the rest of the world has fallen asleep, when all the roles you play during the day have been set aside. Have you ever heard an echo? It's not a sound from the outside world, not the hum of the refrigerator or the settling of the house. It is a stirring from the deepest part of you, a whisper without words, an echo of the roads not taken, the words left unsaid, the passions buried under the dust of responsibility, an echo of the person you feel in your bones. You were meant to become. Perhaps it comes in a dream, a recurring image you can't quite decipher. Perhaps it arrives on the notes of an old song that triggers a sudden tidal wave of emotion for no apparent reason. Perhaps it's that sharp pang you feel when you look at someone else's life, not with envy, but with a painful recognition that could have been a part of me too. If these words are finding you now, at this specific juncture of your life's journey, please understand that this is no accident. In the world of deeper meaning, there are no accidents. The master of depth psychology, Carl Gustav Jung, dedicated his life to studying moments just like this. He called them synchronicity. This is not a discovery. This is an appointment scheduled by your own soul, by the wisest, most ancient part of you, the part that has witnessed all of your choices, all of your sacrifices. And it does not come to judge. It comes to remind. It is only quietly asking one thing: are you listening? For so long, we have built a mighty fortress. We have worn the armor of our roles: the father, the mother, the leader, the devoted partner. We call this the persona, the social mask. It has protected us. It has helped us win the battles of the outer world, and we should be grateful for it. It was a wonderful tool, a loyal companion that helped us get this far. But then, one day, the armor begins to feel tight, not because it has shrunk, but because we have grown from within. The fatigue we feel isn't physical. It comes from the sheer weight of the metal we carry on our shoulders every single day. The creaking of its joints can sometimes become those sudden emotional outbursts, those nameless sorrows, that feeling of emptiness in the middle of a crowd. Let's try something, just for a moment. Right now, try to feel its weight. The armor you have worn for so many years. Feel its pressure on your shoulders, your chest, your breath. It has protected you, yes, but it has also confined you. Isn't it time to be allowed to set it down just for a moment and take a deep, full breath? Breathe in and let it go. The cracks that appear in this armor are not a sign of weakness or failure. Not at all. They are a sign of life stirring within, demanding room to grow. It is the first invitation to come home to yourself, an invitation not to abandon what you have built, but to rediscover the one who built it. So, what is it that's rising up through these cracks? What is causing these seismic shifts in our soul? We call it the shadow. It sounds frightening, doesn't it? Our minds immediately conjure an image of a monster, something dark that must be defeated. We have been taught to run from the darkness, to fight it. But today, let's try a different approach. Don't picture a monster. Think of it as your own forgotten life force. Imagine there is a cellar beneath the house of your conscious mind. You were taught that it was dark and dangerous down there, so you locked the door years ago. But in truth, that cellar doesn't contain monsters. It contains treasure chests that you have accidentally or necessarily stored away. In some of those chests, yes, there are difficult things to look at. Repressed anger, envy you didn't dare to acknowledge, fears you deemed to be weaknesses. But in the other chests, and there are so many of them, lie priceless treasures. There is the explosive creativity you had to set aside for a real job, the wild courage you had to hide in order to fit in, the exquisite sensitivity the world called too much. And, perhaps, in a chest covered in dust, is the carefree, unburdened laughter of your inner child, who had to go quiet so you could grow up. The shadow does not come to destroy the life you've built. It comes to be seen. It comes to bring its gifts into the light, to help you become whole, to give you back the energy you have lost. Are you curious? If you had the courage to walk down into that cellar with a candle, what do you think you would find? What potential, what gold of yours has been left in the dark for all these years? Was it the artist, the adventurer, the poet, or simply the person who dared to feel what they truly felt? Shadow work, therefore, is not a battle. It is an exhilarating archaeological dig, a treasure hunt in the kingdom of your own soul. When we have the courage to go down into the cellar and begin to open these treasure chests, bringing them into the light, a magical transformation begins. Jung called this the journey of individuation. This isn't a dry intellectual exercise or a complicated theory. Imagine it as an inner marriage, a reconciliation and a union of the seemingly opposite parts of yourself to create a new balance, a profound peace within every man. No matter how strong and rational, there exists an inner feminine archetype called the anima. She is the wellspring of his emotions, his intuition, his creativity, and his capacity for connection. In the first half of life, to build a masculine suit of armor, many men have had to lock their anima away. But in the second half, she knocks. If ignored, she can become irritable and moody. But if she is welcomed, she brings to a man a necessary softness, a capacity for deep empathy, and a much richer inner life. He learns that gentleness is not weakness, but another form of strength, the strength of water that can wear away stone. Likewise, within every woman, no matter how gentle and nurturing, there exists an inner masculine archetype called the animus. He is the fire of her logic, her assertiveness, her capacity for action and analysis. To fit traditional roles, many women have had to hide this fire. But in the second half of life, the animus demands expression. If repressed, he can turn into a harsh inner critic. But if integrated, he gives a woman confidence in her own voice, the ability to set boundaries, and the drive to pursue her own goals. She learns that her voice is just as worthy of being heard as anyone else's. To become whole does not mean to become perfect. Perfection is an exhausting illusion. Wholeness is simply allowing all the parts of you to sit down at the same tea table, to have a dialogue with each other in a spirit of respect. The strong part and the vulnerable part, the logical part and the dreaming part. Take a moment to reflect. In your life right now, where does the balance between doing and being, between thinking and feeling, seem to lie? Do you feel a quiet longing to find more equilibrium? True peace doesn't come from getting rid of the parts of ourselves we don't like. It comes from no longer being at war with ourselves. It's the feeling of coming home completely. And the miracle is that the peace you find for yourself, the wholeness you cultivate in your inner garden, does not stay with you alone. It is like a ripple spreading across a still pond. When you have the courage to embark on this journey, when you heal your inner wounds, you light a candle. And the light from that candle does not only illuminate your own path, it spreads further than you can imagine. Jung believed that we are all connected through a deep layer of the psyche called the collective unconscious. It is like an invisible root system that connects all of humanity. The patterns, the unhealed pains of our parents, grandparents, and previous generations can be quietly passed down to us through this network. When you break a negative pattern in yourself, be it a pattern of silent compliance or of unchecked anger, you are not just freeing yourself. You are sending a healing ripple backward through time and forward into the future. You are saying to the past, this cycle stops here, and you are clearing a healthier path for those who come after. Your personal journey becomes an act of generational healing. The true legacy we leave behind is not what we build in the outer world. The greatest, most profound legacy is the wholeness we find in our inner world. It's like lighting a candle in a dark room. You don't have to fight or push away the darkness. You simply focus on keeping your own flame burning, and that light will spread on its own, touching corners you didn't even know were there, bringing warmth to those around you in the most natural way. This great journey does not begin with a thunderclap or a dramatic, life-altering decision. It does not require you to give up everything you have. It begins with a quiet decision, an act of permission. Today, after these words fade, give yourself a precious gift, a moment of true quiet, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Find a place where you can be alone. Turn off your phone. Close your eyes and ask yourself, with all the gentleness you would offer a dear friend, what part of me needs to be heard the most right now? And then be patient. The answer may not come immediately in clear words. The soul has its own rhythm. It may answer you with a feeling in your body, a memory that floats to the surface, an image in your mind's eye. Your job is not to force, analyze, or judge. Your job is simply to listen. to create a safe, warm space for the forgotten parts of you to come home. The second half of life is not a stressful exam with difficult questions. Think of it as a garden you have been given to tend. There are seeds that have been lying dormant in the soil for years, forgotten. And now, for the first time, they are receiving enough sun and rain to sprout. You cannot pull on them to make them grow faster. You can only till the soil, provide water, and trust in the life that is quietly unfolding. Be gentle with yourself on this journey. There will be days you feel you are making progress, and days you feel you are sliding back. It is all okay. Healing is not a straight line, because becoming who you truly are in your entirety is not a burden. It is the greatest liberation of all.